Good morning, everyone. It was a joy to have the former Undersecretary of the Army, Patrick Murphy, with us earlier. We did a short take on Morgan Stanley. We're going to extend it out and also add in here as well, so far, what Neil Sipes has seen. He's truly expert at collating and bringing in all of this with Bloomberg Intelligence. Can you sum them all together and make a theme, or is it every bank for itself?
I think there's a couple themes emerging. I think you do also see a little bit of unevenness within specific business lines like trading across the group. But broadly, the capital markets side of the business, I think, which we all expected heading into first quarter results, is robust, right? I mean, the trading environment was really strong. Most have posted record equities trading. So first quarter good. Okay. April in question.
Paul's got smarter questions than me. My basic answer is the theater of Goldman Sachs. Did somebody have a bad trade? Did someone have a loss on the desk? Was Jeremy Irons called in?
It's certainly possible, and it's almost like when you call the end of the quarter, and things like that can obviously influence quarterly results. I mean, we know that trading's always lumpy. It's always market driven. So you do see a little bit of unevenness there. I mean, we had the miss at Goldman, Bank of America.
Why?
Well, they talked about lower revenue in rates and credit trading. We know that Bank of America is, more skewed to the credit side of the business as well, and we saw a miss there earlier this morning, not to the magnitude of Goldman. And then on the other hand, you have beats at Morgan Stanley. So you do see a little bit of quarterly differences in this business, and so that's why when you look at someone like Morgan Stanley, they continue to push in the wealth business.
I'm getting no drama here, Paul. I mean, what I want to hear from Neil, it's just money. It's made up. Pieces of paper with pictures on them.
Exactly, pushing paper.
That's what it is.
Exactly. So when you think about Morgan Stanley, in addition to their great capital markets business, the great investment banking business, they've also made a big push on wealth management, and very successfully under Mr. Gorman. Talk to us about that business.
Yeah, and so, I mean, at this point, we're at, 50% or more of revenue when you think of Morgan Stanley is wealth and asset management, right? So I think what generates the headlines is obviously big misses or beats in the capital markets franchise, which we know swings on a quarterly basis, as we just hit on. What comes in much more steady is, of course, the wealth management business, and that looks really strong this quarter. I mean, we had really strong growth across fee-based flows, total flows, profitability is great there. And you look at Morgan Stanley as a whole, 27% return on tangible. We talked about Goldman earlier this week at 20%. Even when you have perhaps idiosyncratic or one-off misses in certain business lines, the franchises are firing in the first quarter.
So talk to us. I'm ready for, and I think a lot of investors are ready for some mega IPOs this year. SpaceX, some of this AI stuff that they've been talking about forever, Anthropic. These are going to be gajillion-dollar deals. Talk to us about the fees that might come from these things.
Yeah, when you talk about transactions of that size, obviously fees can be quite lucrative for those that are at least left lead on those types of transactions. So you've had the banks sort of jockeying for position. Of course, those generate headlines as well. I think in March we saw softer IPO trends. Again, that's normal when you have the levels of volatility that we saw in March and early April. I think the question that we still have now is, everyone's talking about strong pipelines, expectations for 26 to be good. But at what point does uncertainty sort of kick things farther down the road, and where do we go from here? So,
how many conference calls do you listen to a quarter?
Let's see, 22 names.
22?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard anyone on a conference call say, please speak as you might to a young child or a golden retriever?
No, I have not heard that.
Okay, I just want to get that.
And he's also an analyst who does not, because we train our analysts this way, do not say great quarter, guys.
It drives me nuts.
Yes,
drives me. Okay, we go back to Jack Grubman. Neil, this is wonderful. Really, I make light of it, folks. 2 conference calls is difficult. Exponential, 22 conference calls in a quarter.
And some of these banks, they do like 3 or 4 banks a day. So
I mean, what you do is you put it on hold and listen to the Stones. Thanks so much. Neil Sipes with us, and will continue to give us excellence from Bloomberg Intelligence.